Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivamy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of heroic television or film. And this week on the podcast, we are talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Holiday special.
Holiday Special.
A special presentation by Marvel.
A special presentation. I kind of wish it was called the Holiday Special.
Yeah,
I don't know
feel
why.
like
I'm like, you need to hit too many thes. The Guardians of the Galaxy, the Holiday Special.
I feel like when I was looking it up, it was like previously called...
I thought it was previously called Guardians Christmas Special, and then it went for the full proper title,
No.
and then it went for Holiday Special. Was it always Holiday?
It was. The original title just didn't have a colon.
That was it. That
They
was the
added a
only
colon.
difference. Making
Making
big changes.
Big grammatical changes to the title.
Big moves over here.
Oh
at
man, but
the-
yeah, the holiday special, because I always thought it was supposed to be like a Star Wars parody of the Star Wars Christmas special.
Right. I don't know if it would be a parody of that because
Not a direct parody, but like the famous sci-fi
the
Christmas
style
special.
of yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think
Not that I've seen that.
yeah, well, that's the thing. I think to parody something, you generally want the public to have some perception or awareness of it. So that is beneficial to parody. But no, this is its own thing. A Marvel special presentation, as you mentioned, similar to Werewolf by Night in terms of the special presentationness of it. I guess a new sub thing that Disney Marvel's doing.
Yeah, a new sub thing. I don't know if there's any more planned. Like as far as I've looked at the schedule, I don't know if there's any more like one-off hour specials planned. But I'm like, these are fun.
I think it's a good.
Which I don't know if we should talk about yet. Are we there yet?
Well, I think that I think it's fun as a concept that they're doing this. Like I do think that, and we've discussed this in different ways about previously on the podcast, that it's like if you are going to own everything, which certainly has more negatives than positives. I am not going to defend Disney's rampant purchasing of every company ever and owning of all media and property. But if you are going to do that, you might as well have fun with owning everything and doing a bunch of things, like do silly things with the show, do one-offs, get weird with it. So I encourage more special presentations down the road where it's like, yeah, if you got a 40-minute idea, do a 40-minute idea. You got a 5-minute idea, like those little Groot mini stories as well, do that as well. So I do think that like it's fun to play with what is expected, what is timing, what is going to be done with all of these properties.
I agree. Yeah, I think if you own everything and you have a fun idea, like have a low stakes, quick thing that like it goes straight to Disney Plus. It doesn't cost a lot because it's a one-off, and really it feels like the creators are getting more freedom on these.
Yeah,
and that's really fun.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and we will give you a quick spoiler-free review of this. It is a new thing. It's a fun one-off special presentation available on Disney Plus right now. But we're going to give you a spoiler-free review in case you're wondering if it's worth your time. Let's start with the simple spoiler-free question of Diana, did you like it?
I really liked it. It might go as high as a low love, to a very, very high like. It's very, very fun. I'm glad we're finally in this section. I was getting stressed out. I'm like, I can't say if I like it or not. We didn't ask the question.
Here we are.
Now, here we are. Thankfully. Thank you so much. No, it breezes past. It's very fun. It is very much set like in the Marvel universe. It's like all there. It's not just like there's like 2 characters here and it's a quick one-off we did in the back lot of a parking lot one day. Like no, it's a full production. It's really fun. It's just got a lot of laughs. It's got like a little bit of heart, not too much, but like enough that for what I want this to be, for like the story they're telling. So it's mostly fun. It didn't really like put me in like the Christmas spirit or of like, humanity's good. I was just kind of like, well, that was fun. And that's all I'm looking for in a 45-minute holiday special from James Gunn and the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I think it delivered like everything it was looking to do, and I had a good time. Andrew, did you like it?
I liked it a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. I agree. I don't think I would ever like put this up to a love. I'm not going to be like this goes in the pantheon of big Christmas watches every single year. But I had a lot of great laughs. I agree with you. It has a little bit of heart, but not so much that it's not really trying to have heart. It's not trying to warm you in any way. It's mainly just a joke per minute, kind of fun goof around, and it does a really good job of that. It's very charming, which I think is its strength and it's what it's going for, is that it's not trying to be a Christmas special that's like, we're the one that really has heart and kind of brings around. Because, frankly, the Guardians movies have more heart in this. Like your average Christmas special is all about like appreciation of family. And that's what the films are about. So if you want that, watch the movies. This is the goof around fun time, but it's filled with charm. I'm smiling the entire time watching it and really having a very joyous time. I would say that this slips very comfortably into like a during the holidays all day marathon-y type viewing. You're with friends, you're with family. You've got a bunch of different holiday themed stuff on in the background. This is kind of like a great reprieve or like an afternoon to evening type of a thing. Like fix a drink, kind of get cozy up on the couch after a dinner. Like this kind of fits into a nice like marathon of holiday stuff, but I don't think it's a yearly destination place to go,
I would totally agree with that. And I really like what you said about how like it's not all that heartwarming, but it's not trying to be. It's not like it fails at being heartwarming. It is very much a like, we're going to have a goof about Christmas, not at Christmas expense. We're just going to have a Christmas setting and the Guardians are going to be goofy. And I do appreciate that actually, because I'm like, I've seen a lot of Christmas things and they always try to shoehorn in so much heart and they want to make you cry and they want to make you feel warm inside. And that's like a nice sentiment, but it's kind of nice to just be like, this is just a fun Christmas thing.
Yeah.
If you want to have fun at Christmas, you can watch this.
What if some charming characters and actors were charming and there was red and green colors around them?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
And they talked about presents and there was a lot of lights and it was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds really nice.
Yep.
Sounds like it's not going to bring me down. It's really going to pick me up.
Just a fun little pick-me-up.
Yeah, and this goes, and what we were saying about these like special presentations, 2 bangers.
Yes.
There's only been 2.
There are 2 for 2.
A love and a high like. That's pretty good.
And I think that this one more so I think than Werewolf by Night, because Werewolf by Night I think it was special and was also immaculately done and something people should go out of their way to watch.
They should. Yes.
This holiday special I think is very good, but I don't necessarily think it's for everyone. But I like that they're trying different themes, different visual styles. Like, I like that they're having fun with this.
They are having fun. A little bit more lore than I expected.
That they did try, but you know what? Even I'm on board with that. We'll get into that. I think a little bit later. But the other spoiler-free question is: can this be spoiled?
I think so.
Really? Okay.
A few little things in the way that jokes can be spoiled.
Yeah.
I actually saw one of these things on Tumblr before we watched it, and I was like, "Ah, it was spoiled." So yes.
Interesting.
Yes, I know for a fact this can be spoiled. So, what about you?
I don't think it can be spoiled. I agree with you.
You're not on Tumblr.
I do agree with you. Jokes can be spoiled. I don't think that that's what our podcast is, which is beat for beat, just retelling jokes. But I agree, jokes can be spoiled, and that can ruin the wonder of comedy, I suppose.
Don't ruin my comedy.
If we're talking about just the wonder and spectacle of entertainment, yes, I guess everything is a spoiler always. And then there's a couple of things in this where we will get into it in the spoiler section just to be safe, but where they drop stuff that it just feels like it's like kind of being like, we didn't know where to put this in any of the movies, so we're just dropping a little lore here to set up stuff in the future or close off some stuff in the past. So, but it feels very out of place. It's not like, oh, wow, we're doing that. It's just like, oh, okay. But to be safe, we'll fit that into the spoiler-filled section. So
there are spoilers.
I don't really think it can be spoiled. I'm just playing safe by moving a few things over to the spoiler section. Yeah,
I can agree with this.
So we both agree that it is very good, a high like, not quite a love, but we do recommend it. And it is comedy and entertainment, which can be spoiled. We always agree.
We've
always
said that.
We've always said it on this podcast.
Do not spoil comedies.
If you're a new listener, you need to know we've always said it on this podcast.
Don't ruin a punchline.
And before we get into the spoiler-filled section, once you hear the theme music, then we will enter the spoiler-filled section. Before we do that, though, I want to give a thank you to one of our sponsors of today's episode. We want to thank our wonderful friends over at Quip.
We want to thank our friends at Quip for not spoiling anything in any movie and also for helping us have good oral hygiene.
Yes, they spoil the bad things in my mouth with good things, and they're fun to say. Quip.
Quip Andrew's having a good time.
I like having a very fun time with it. The Quip electric toothbrush is loved by over 7 million mouths. It's a fantastic product. It has timed sonic vibrations with 30-second pulses to guide a dentist-recommended 2-minute clean. It has a lightweight and sleek design. They have one for adults. They have one for kids. There's no wires or bulky chargers to weigh you down. It has this multi-use travel cover that goes onto the mirror, but then also like it can pop off. I use it just as like a little sleeve to slip into a travel case or a luggage if you're on the go. Very low imprint, like very mobile friendly and thin and nice.
It's very mobile, thin, and nice, but also just so sleek. These toothbrushes look so good. I'm like, the rest of my bathroom's got to step up its game. It's not matching Quip's level of like just looking really cool. And on top of brushing, you can upgrade your Quip with a new smart motor, and then you can improve your brushing with the app and earn rewards. So you're already brushing your teeth, and you're going to get rewards like free refills, products, Target gift cards, like real cool rewards for just brushing your teeth.
Real cool rewards just for brushing your teeth. It's all synced up, and you have like data on how you're brushing. And then on top of that, just like the simple vibration that tells you to change with which quadrant you're brushing so that you get the dentist recommended 2-minute clean, which if you're using just a manual toothbrush, you think you know what 2 minutes is. You don't. You're not doing a proper 2 minutes. I guarantee you that. So you want to have a good 2-minute clean, and there's never a wrong time to start upping your dental hygiene because they also have anti-cavity toothpaste. They have 2 different ways to floss. They have refillable gum, refillable mouthwash. They have all of the additional accoutrement.
All the accoutrement, and they'll ship it right to your door.
Trust me, you've got to try it. Go to getquip.com/super right now for your first refill free. Plus, shop Quip's lowest prices of the year this holiday season. That's getquip.com/super. Quip, the Good Habits Company. And thank you, Quip, for your support.
Thank you, Quip.
And now let's get into the spoiler-filled section talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. All right, we have seen it all. What was the joke that was spoiled for you via the internet?
Bucky's arm.
Oh, that was spoiled for you? You know what? That is kind of a fun, wild surprise.
Me in particular.
Yeah, especially for you.
As a very Bucky-focused girl, I would have loved the moment of seeing that in movie and not just in a GIF on Tumblr.
Yeah.
And they gift it right away, too. Like, it came out today.
Yeah, that is a fact. I mean, it's not huge manual labor to gift things, but I see what you're saying.
In terms of spoiling a reveal of a joke, which you can spoil a joke.
Oh, certainly you can. Certainly you can. And that one was.
That one was. I will say, I guess they tell you right off the bat. I will say when the thing started, you hadn't seen the trailer and you were like, Kevin Bacon's in this.
Yeah, I do like.
Well, you can't say that's a spoiler, though.
No. Introducing Kevin Bacon is the title.
So funny.
That is so fucking funny. And not like that is funny in itself to be like, we are introducing a well-known legendary actor that is so connected to the industry. They are synonymous with being connected to the industry. But additionally, the fact that it is a meta joke about him being known galaxy-wide and doing the introducing credit is just right off the bat so charming and fun.
And I think he's like the only actor who's ever been name-checked deeply in the MCU, so can't play anyone else.
Ooh, that's a really good point. Yes, I think that might be right.
There might be one or two, like maybe like a Sean Connery or something, although Quill's the only one, Quill and Peter. But Peter always says, like, that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back. Peter's never really pulling out, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Peter Parker's never really pulling out, like, specific
An actor's name, yeah.
Peter Quill's the only one who's like, Kevin Bacon and Footloose and specific 1980s things. So, like, I think Kevin Bacon is the only actor in the world who had to be like, so I can't be in the MCU.
Interesting.
You're telling me I can't play anybody.
Right. But how do I keep these degrees of separation going?
I need to be in an MCU film so I can have many more degrees.
And now he has, and it does.
Oh man, so many degrees now.
So now it's adding more degrees or fewer degrees, however you want to. I don't know if it's golf when we're counting down in this regard. But yes, it is strange that he is. And it did even make me think with Kevin Bacon playing Kevin Bacon in this as himself.
Not himself. I think a fictionalized version of Kevin Bacon. That's different.
Legally, yes. I guess, like, the Kevin Bacon who exists in our world
Didn't go to
did
space.
not go. I understand that we are not watching a documentary. Yes, a fictionalized version of Kevin Bacon. But as soon as he showed up, though, the first thing that ran through my head is I was like, wonder if Kevin Bacon blipped. Just the bleakest possible thing to imagine about a celebrity cameo stunt casting. But I'm like, this motherfucker blip? What is his story? What happened with Thanos there?
That is very funny. Oh, who was it? There is some song that they use in one of the Spider-Man movies that proved that one very specific celebrity didn't blip, or else the song wouldn't have been released the year it came out and could be used in that Spider-Man movie. And
Okay.
I can't remember who it was.
That's
but
very
it was
funny.
a very funny Twitter thread being like, I can prove beyond a doubt that this celebrity was not blipped.
That's very good. That's very
But I
good.
don't know about Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Oh, I guess Megan Thee Stallion with She-Hulk.
I mean, she might have blipped, although was she famous 5 years before? Like,
Yes. But I mean a celebrity playing themselves.
a celebrity playing themselves.
Another celebrity
Sorry,
playing
I thought
themselves.
you were saying was she blipped or not?
No. Celebrity playing themselves.
But she hadn't been established in canon.
I understand. I am with you. But we
So,
have
yeah.
Bacon here.
We
No
have
idea if he
Bacon
blipped
here.
or not.
No establishing canon.
No. What
They
is
really
Kevin
left
Bacon's canon? You know, I want to check the Wikipedia and really get my hands into the dough of what is Kevin Bacon's canon.
I can't wait to go to a Marvel wiki and be like, oh, okay, so the Kevin Bacon character, he got brainwashed,
Yeah.
he got kidnapped. Was he blipped?
And the wiki's like, it's not the real Kevin Bacon. Just so you know, it's a fictionalized portrayal of him.
version. Here's what I like about Kevin Bacon. In this, I like that he's home alone when he gets kidnapped. But I like that he established that he's like, I'm not alone though. I have a wife.
Yeah.
She's just not home. And
I have a family.
I want that clearly established, that I have a family, but I just happen to be alone when I get kidnapped.
Uh-huh.
And I feel that in my heart.
Interesting.
I wouldn't want my most famous recent venture, especially as playing myself, to be like, this guy lives alone at Christmas time.
I don't think I would have thought that about Kevin Bacon.
I would have.
I would have been like, oh, they didn't cast a family to play his family.
I would have been like, oh man, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but no degrees to family.
I wouldn't have been like, classic lonely playboy Kevin Bacon. Everyone talks about it. No, I'm gonna let Kevin Bacon slide on that.
I
one.
am going to let Kevin Bacon slide. This
Now-
is a fun role for him. I'm glad he did it.
I'm glad that he did it. I'm glad that he had a good time. I can't remember if Hasselhoff played himself doing the music video or what the story with that was,
I
but
don't know what you're talking about.
the Guardians Inferno thing. Do you remember this?
No.
All right, we
Was
don't
this in
need
the
to get
second
into that.
movie?
I think it was the second movie.
Oh, I don't remember the second movie.
So let's breeze right past that.
Sorry.
And back to the holiday special. I will say it opens in a way that made me think it was going to have more heart than it does, because the animated opening, I think that really works. They really nailed that style. It's very charming. It's very warm and nostalgic for Peter Quill's era of television as well, which really works.
Yeah, it really did set a good fun vibe of it was a combination of oh, this really sets up that it's a flashback, and that it's Peter's flashback of how he would have been drawn in the 80s when he was kidnapped. But also I'm like, could they also just not get Michael Rooker only in voice? He wouldn't show up in the makeup, so we're animating this part.
Well, I assumed it was maybe they didn't want to, or they couldn't get the kid who played, or they didn't want to
maybe.
recast young Peter Quill.
But also maybe they just sincerely wanted to do animated. It was a
It
bit,
also works for the style.
It absolutely works. I will say I was a bit like, oh no, is this mostly animated and there's only like a few live action parts? I had a little bit of a concern that this wasn't what I thought it was. I'm like, oh no, it's going to be like half an hour of shitty animation.
It's warm for a little bit, but you don't want a full hour of that or whatever. And I could easily see that occurring, to be like, we actually can't assemble this cast for 1 hour.
For a whole special off the books for a Disney Plus thing. Like Chris Pratt's making Jurassic Park movies and he's doing this movie and I think he's got other stuff happening
and he's Mario. He's only doing voice stuff. Mario. So it would make sense that this was animated.
But the animation absolutely works. It's got a nice fun at the end there tie-in. They also might not want to bring Yondu back because he's also like dead. So I kind of do like we're not gonna like revisit a passed away character, but we are in the same way.
I agree with you that works better for a deceased character. 100%. That has a little bit more respect for what they have previously written without kind of undermining it or immediately going back to that well. Because it's like that's a character that you just killed off as the emotional payoff. A few minutes ago in not the timeline, but in terms of like these characters as we know it. So you can't really go back to that well that quickly, but animated gives you a little bit of leeway to play with that, to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, that definitely works. And then we get to a lot of lore very quickly then. Because then we go to Nowhere and we're like, the Guardians have purchased Nowhere
from the Collector,
and Mantis is your sister. All within like 5 minutes.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is a full Guardians movie worth of knowledge you've just packed in here.
Mantis is your sister. Kraglin has the mohawk that controls an arrow. We own Nowhere, and Cosmos is part of the Cosmos part of the gang now.
Yeah.
Which I'm on board for all of this, but they really are like. I actually kind of like that they're like a Band-Aid, one motion, right off.
We're not going to pace it out through the hour-long thing. It's like 3 minutes of here's the lore, and then we're going to have jokes.
Yes.
And then all jokes.
I kind of like that, of just getting it all out of the way. It's weird to do that much lore in your holiday special, but I'm like, was this purposefully so you don't have to find a justification for it in Guardians 3 that you're like, now we can just go into Guardians 3, fuck it.
Yeah, especially like in Guardians 3, we do not have to explain if Quill calls Mantis sister or like says I have like a real family now or goes into anything like that. It's like, no, you got to watch the holiday special. It filled you in on all this stuff. Kevin Bacon was there. It was perfect.
Yeah.
They bought Nowhere. Buying Nowhere seems like...
Where did you get that money?
Yeah, because you got unsnapped.
Yes.
And then where'd you get money?
I don't know where they got buy Nowhere money.
The last time we saw them, they got unsnapped. Like, did Nebula inherit Thanos' money? She's his daughter.
Ooh.
Has Nebula inherited the empire?
Thanos money. The empire of Thanos money.
I actually would
and sold it off brick for brick.
Yeah, because like, I think Tony snapped away like all Thanos' like people, like henchmen and like the children of Thanos.
Much.
So
yeah.
I think like all the ships and money might be hers.
Okay, so Nebula has that. Maybe that's where the money came from.
I'm building that canon in.
Yeah. Okay. Or it's from whatever robbery, steal job, scam thing that they've done recently.
Oh, I guess we saw them last in Thor.
Oh, yeah.
In Thor 4 More Thor.
They didn't have a ton of money, it seemed like then.
No, they just had the same tiny ship that like 5 of them were living on.
Whatever.
Whatever.
You know, whatever.
You know what? Fuck it.
Fuck it. I think
fuck it.
I think fuck it. Because I also think what a fun don't give a fuck device for a writer. If you're James Gunn, you're writing Guardians 3, and you're like, actually for this one, I kind of want Quill and Mantis to be brother and sister, and I want it to be about this found family and real family running Nowhere together. How do I get them there? And you're like, I know. A throwaway line on a Christmas special, and then I just start the movie where I want to start it. A wildly who gives a shit narrative device that I think is actually kind of fun in its lack of shits given.
I think that's fun too, and I really like that you can kind of feel James Gunn's lack of shits in a way that he's like, I'm DC now. But not in a way that like he's not working. Like it's very funny and he's like worked very hard on this, but in a way like fuck the canon. I don't give a shit. I own DC.
I'm the DC guy.
I'm DCEU in canon now.
Yeah.
So like it's very funny to me that he was just like, and they own nowhere and it's his sister and like, yeah, who cares what happens in 3? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come up.
Fuck it. We'll figure it out.
Kevin Bacon's here.
So Kevin Bacon's here, but yeah, a lot of canon that they dropped. I think those were all the big ones. I think it was We Own Nowhere, Cosmo's part of the gang, kind of.
Nebula or
Brother
Mantis
and sister.
is your sister.
Yeah,
and,
Gamora's still on the run.
Gamora is still missing / dead because one of them, the one they know, is dead.
Oh yeah.
And Kraglin's headpiece for the arrow.
Yes,
like,
and Kraglin has that now.
That was a small enough one that I was like, I don't remember if that was Guardians 2 because Kraglin doesn't show up every time.
Yeah,
the Guardians show up.
Yeah. So I guess that's just something where like James Gunn, I guess, is like, if I'm leaving for DC, I'm securing my brother work here by writing him into a lead-ish character role with the weapon from the other guy. So that might just be him securing the bag for his brother for this one.
What a big thing you have to install in your head just to work an arrow.
Yeah.
You think
Seems obtrusive.
Seems like a lot. You got to think Cosmo's just like, I just have telekinesis. I can do it.
Ooh.
I'm just fully telekinetic. He just pulls that arrow out himself.
Though apparently Cosmo was struggling with it.
I think Cosmo's gonna figure it out though. He's a good boy.
I love that they've added Cosmo now.
What a great thing, because Cosmo is in the game you played.
Yes,
like a lot.
Yeah, Cosmo runs nowhere in the game. So Cosmo is the one who runs nowhere. We've got a female Cosmo now in this one, so a good girl, but a lovely addition to the crew. Very fun. Something that they had like planted the seed of with just like a Howard the Duck and a Cosmo
Easter egg
in the first Guardians. Yeah.
Love to see a payoff of a dog.
Yes,
that's just need that.
And a very adorable dog.
Adorable dog dealing with a talking raccoon. This franchise knows what it's doing.
It really does.
Really nailing it.
It really is having fun the entire time. But yeah, I like that Cosmo is here. I like that Cosmo is part of the gang. I think that it works. It's fun. It's charming. And yeah, Kraglin has the head mohawk now that controls the arrow. Securing the bag for him. It's all fun. It's all really fun. I will say, also, just right off the top, that song slapped. You were really digging that song. I thought it actually had I love an in-universe song that is happening that like characters can hear, especially when it's not a full musical, and I'm like, oh, they can all hear that song. It really tickles me. But I think it was genuinely like a great new holiday jingle. I think it was like a real banger. I really like the comedy of like the elbow breaking or the 360-degree elbow movement. That was alien. Fun. Yeah, it made it just a little bit alien. Other than like the fact that he also doesn't know what Christmas is. Nailing what Christmas is for the first verse is really fun. Like it's just simple, clean comedy that I think really sells the shit out of it in this. Just Quill like being like, "Yeah, you nailed it, man. You got it. Anyway, I'll see you like, oh, there's more. Oh, no." It getting out of hand, and I like everything around the song. I know you're all about the song. I'm all about the song. I'm about everything around the song. I think the song perfectly like ramps up in what it's getting wrong about Christmas, while still like having very good like, oh no, it's kind of right. You see how they got there on each one. I think it's genuinely catchy. I kind of hate when I compliment Chris Pratt, but I think he's doing a great job of reacting to the song. Just like, you guys just got those instruments? You guys like, just got those? Was so funny. Yeah. And his reactions to like, Mrs. Claus is going down the stripper pole. He's like, no, not Mrs. Claus. He knows how to give big comedic reactions. He does know how to do that. It works really well. Yeah. As we've discussed, he doesn't know how to do like drama in any way, but he can give a big physical reaction. Yeah, and he hasn't transitioned well into like bland action leading man. Like he's not action guy. He should be the over the top guy. And he's doing that here, and that's the right place for him. James Gunn is putting him in the correct role for himself there. Yeah, James Gunn has figured out what Chris Pratt can do and what he's good for. Yeah, because as we said, this isn't one of those like Christmas specials with heart, which a lot of people would do. They'd be like, all right, it's going to be your emotional Christmassy scene where you're like, oh, I miss my mom, but now I've got my new family. He's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to be like,
here's Kevin Bacon. We kidnapped him.
We've kidnapped Kevin Bacon. Here's a fun song about Christmas.
And you're
We're having the
gonna-
best time with it.
And you're going to have a sister, and with one quick hug.
And with one quick hug, a little bit of heart, a touch of heart, more charm than heart, as
More
we've discussed.
charm than heart.
Well, let's take a little break in the episode to thank one of our other sponsors of today's episode. We want to thank our friends over at Uncommon Goods.
Oh, I'm going to thank my friends at Uncommon Goods for my holiday special of great, interesting, unique gifts for my friends and family.
Oh, tying it in.
It's all connected.
I love it. I love it. But yes, Uncommon Goods is going to be a fantastic place for you to shop for your holiday gifts or for any gifts that you're looking for in your life. Because when you shop there, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. These fine products are often made in small batches. You're going to want to shop now before they sell out. And they're called Uncommon Goods because you're going to get something that is unique, something that is rare, something that is niche and cool and special, something that's going to stand out from the crowd of bland gifts.
Yeah, it's just going to be something like very interesting that you're not going to find any places, like from art to jewelry to kitchen, home and bar, man, woman, husband, kids. Like they've got really interesting gifts for everyone that, like, when you open them on Christmas, everyone's going to be like, oh, look at that. That's so neat, or that's so cute, or I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, that type of gift where, like, you always get one every year where it's like it's the one that the family asks about when you're hanging out, to be like, what's the story of that thing? Like, what's going on there? Like, tell me about that, like, murder mystery jigsaw puzzle that you got, or like whatever it might be. The automatic pan stirrer as well. Like, just like these fun little kitschy things that you're like, I'm having a great time with this. Like, we got a cheese / charcuterie tray that has a little like a little drawer built in that's got the cheese knives in it, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a little discussion piece.
Yeah, and the cheese knives are all like 4 very different knives. They each have their own little place, like James Bond gadgets that you just kind of like, oh, this one goes here and that one goes there. And it just looks really like cool and professional. And,
yeah,
like, I'm a professional charcuterier.
Like, you can get they have little hats for your bananas. You can get little banana hats. And it's like, you better believe that if you put a hat on your bananas, you're going to have like a fun little giggle, and you're going to have a discussion with your friends and family.
Also keeps your bananas good longer.
I did know that. I don't know. What's the sign? Banana hats.
Banana hats. Don't ask. Just believe.
Absolutely. Just believe. And they give back. They also give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice with every purchase. They've donated more than $2.5 million to date. So check out Uncommon Goods right now. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/TFS. That's uncommongoods.com/TFS for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. And thank you, Uncommon Goods, for your support.
Thank you, Uncommon Goods.
And now back to the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. We were mentioning a moment ago, Chris Pratt gives very good reactions. We don't always love giving him compliments, but he gives great reactions. He's really good at comedic reactions. I also think James Gunn is just great at editing and cutting to good. That is a sense of comedic timing James Gunn really fucking has down, and that this special goes to that well a lot without being exhausting. It works every single time. Like, even stuff when they're giving the gift and Quill just being like, Groot, can you say you didn't know about it? I just saw you wheel out Kevin Bacon. And they're getting a reaction shot from a fully animated CGI character, which really tells me that I'm like, James Gunn is getting this comedic reaction shot from characters real and imagined, which also is part of the reason why I think that, like, the animation and the CGI in Guardians and in this special is so particularly good. It does tell me that James Gunn is actually involved and has a vision and knows how to communicate and work with those departments, which not all directors do. That if he is able to get an animation that matches his style of comedy, timing, pacing, and eye movement, that says that you really know how to work with such a varied team in a very visually dominated medium.
Yeah, I will say James Gunn's stuff never feels rushed, despite how CG heavy it is. Like, all the Guardian stuff is so CG heavy. but it never feels, because I know from his like Twitter accounts that he storyboards like everything, but I think he storyboards like down to the micro, like of like shot to Groot, shot to Quill, shot to Kevin Bacon, shot to Groot. Like, so like he will, I think, and the animators must love that. If day one he's like, I'm gonna need a reaction shot of Groot when Kevin Bacon walks out of the box. Like, well, we can get that started right now.
Yeah.
It must be wonderful for them. And so he knows what he wants, and he is, but it does, you are right that like it explains why his characters have to be so well animated, like, because like Rocket's in this fully like movie level animated. And like he's not in like the whole thing. It's mostly Mantis and Drax. But like Rocket looking as good as he looks in the Guardians movie is like, okay, so like they gave the time and the money to make these guys look as good as they do. Groot looks a little like funny on purpose because I love that they made him practical. Actually, I think they only CG'd the face. Like there's a person on set in that costume.
I was wondering what the story is, and part of me was like, was Vin on set? Because they made him a real thick boy
He's
as
a real
well.
thick boy with a real young face. Like it's a very weird Groot.
Yeah.
But like, what do we know about Groot's body and growth spurts? Like, but like, I can also see Vin being like, I'd love to be on set for the Christmas.
I easily could see Vin being like that. Absolutely.
So yeah, James Gunn does have great reactions. Even just like when Peter is going up to the box with Kevin Bacon in it, and the slow horror on his face of like when the box starts to shake.
Yeah.
That was maybe my favorite moment of the pure joy just changing into abject terror.
Yeah.
Very like just incredibly well edited and well acted on Chris Pratt's part.
And that's the thing as well, is that James Gunn's hand, as well as whatever editing team that he must regularly work with, it is very well edited. The pacing of his comedy is very confident and smart. Like he does such a good job of letting it breathe, like finding the like how long can we kind of sit on nothing of just Peter reacting to the fact that a gift is moving. There is not an insecurity of like, we got to get to the next joke, got to get to the next joke. It's like, no, this is the joke. We sit in it for a little while. So there's a level of security there, and that really works. And also I think it just shows that like he's got a little bit of power, and granted, a special presentation, you're probably given a little bit more room to play around than you would necessarily in like, you know, Guardians 3 or what your big release would be. But James has a weight to him in the MCU, and I guess now in DC as well, to kind of do what he needs to do.
And also just the rare like wrote and directed.
Yeah.
Really speaks to the confidence he has in his work. It's like, because most of the MCU is like different writer, different director. So like him going full, like I wrote the jokes, I directed the jokes, I was probably in the editing room for the jokes. Like I know exactly what I want, and I know what's funny, and he is funny.
And he is funny.
Man's funny.
And one thing that I do want to backtrack to, just talking about how, when we were talking a moment ago about how his visual effects kind of look a little bit better than a lot of the other things that are going on in general Marvel. And I think that has to do with his interaction with these studios that are doing the visual effects, because part of the, to use scare quotes, the Marvel problem, like the CGI problem that is going on that everyone is kind of noticing and criticizing with Marvel, and these poor, like overworked, way too many animation studios that are doing way too much, is it is too many cooks in the kitchen, and there's not any kind of unifying vision, and it's too many revisits and redos and notes and go again, and an executive said this. You know, it's too much like, hey, we had a team of 1,000 people work and make She-Hulk really come together, and then 2 executives were like, she's too big, that doesn't sell, redo it. It's like, fuck, okay, and we're redoing and we're redoing and we're redoing. Whereas it does feel like on Guardians projects, on James Gunn stuff, it's just like, here's what it looks like. Send that to the animation team. I know how to convey that. I have faith that they're going to do it. And I got the same budget and the same amount of time, but it really feels like they're not redoing the same look and shot 9 times based on studio notes. It really does feel like the same team of animators that's doing a lot of the shit in Marvel, but they're not having to waste their fucking time redoing it 9 different ways based on too much feedback. So I think that there is, you know, there's positives and negatives to having a very unifying or singular voice in film or in any artistic medium, and the ability to communicate clearly and get too many cooks out of the kitchen is something that I think James is good at when it comes to communicating with these visual effects studios.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it also, you have to have like the executives being willing to not step into your kitchen.
Yes.
You have to have the power to be like, get the fuck out of my kitchen. Like, my vision is very clear. But I also think like his vision is so clear that the executives don't need to step in. They're like, no, you got it. But also, like, when you're on the third time these characters have appeared, it's like, we know what they look like also. We've got all the skins made. Maybe not Groot, whatever's going on with him. Vin showed up in a Groot costume, and we just had to work around it. And we weren't going to kick Vin Diesel off the set.
We didn't even call him. We don't know how he heard about this. He showed up.
We think he's friends with Kevin.
He showed up, and he was like, I'm here to film the Guardians movies.
I'm playing Groot.
I'm here.
I signed the contract that said I play Groot.
I'm Groot. And everyone's like, I guess. And we just had to go with it. Family. Of course, that's all he says.
I'm in the Christmas special.
I'm in the Christmas special. I'm family. Where's Bradley Cooper? And like, what, Vin?
I don't know if Bradley Cooper is never there, right? He never plays Rocket.
No. Well, Rocket is played by Sean Gunn as well.
I thought Sean Gunn played Groot.
No,
does he play Rocket?
Does he?
I thought Sean Gunn was Groot.
No, he's Rocket. He's Rocket.
Okay.
He is. I'm not sure if he's Groot. I am sure that he's Rocket.
No, I will not counter that in any way. Yeah, Bradley Cooper seems like he wants it to be a secret that he's in these movies. He just never does press. He's never present, but he seems to love it. And he's so good at Rocket.
I think Bradley Cooper has a good time while he's doing it, and then sincerely forgets that he is in Marvel films.
That makes sense.
It's similar to the Paul Bettany thing.
Paul Bettany absolutely, before he played Vision, forgot all the time that he was in Iron Man movies.
Yes, yeah, he forgot that he was Jarvis.
He would be interviewed. He'd be like, "I'm not in the MCU." He's like, "Oh wait, no, I am. It only takes me 3 hours one day in a booth to do all those lines."
Yeah. Yeah, so I think Bradley Cooper's a little bit Paul Bettany in that regard.
Now, I don't have a full memory of Guardians 2. Guardians 1 I've seen a bunch of times. Have they ever seeded in that the Guardians don't like actors? What is this?
I love it.
It's funny, I guess.
I think it's fucking hilarious.
It feels kind of out of left field, out of nowhere. It almost felt like they should have not known what actors were, but to know what actors were and to know they hate them, I was like, what? Did you meet those guys from Thor 3 who were in the play and you hated them? What? Who hurt you actor-wise? Where does this come from?
I love it.
You don't want any more backstory.
I don't want any. I love it. I'm not going to say I don't need any more backstory. Them just hating actors.
Just crying. They're so hate it.
Mantis is going to puke. She hates actors so much. I think that's truly, truly hilarious. And I think that there is, other than the actors in Thor, there is this weird thing in sci-fi and fantasy where it's just entertainment mediums do not exist outside of Earth in our current realm. And I think that just being I don't know, everywhere in the galaxy just hates acting. They hate the idea of performance. It's loathed other than the Norse gods.
Yeah, they're false and they're liars.
Yeah.
And they're cowards, I guess. Also, this movie, this if this is canon, has established Batman in the MCU.
Ooh, yeah.
Because Kevin was like, I'm Batman, I'm Bruce Wayne, as a fictional character. Although I think Eternals also put Superman in, if I recall.
Which I believe you're right. Yes, so they reference Superman.
Some weird crossovers happening within the MCU of we're going to acknowledge DC.
We're going to acknowledge that DC exists, which is interesting. I will say I really like this whole middle section of most of this movie is Mantis and Drax.
Most of it is.
And they really comedically work together. It's a pairing that I didn't think would quite play out because I know that Dave Bautista can do comedy. He's done a lot of comedy. He's also done a lot of drama. He's just a wildly talented and very versatile, well-ranged actor, which is so impressive for an ex-wrestler. But for Pom Klementieff, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, but for Pom, I didn't know if she could be a great comedic actor because it's the comedy of that character works in an ensemble sometimes, but if Drax is very character driven, so I'm like, can we have two character driven butts of the joke?
Yeah, two sillies.
Yeah.
With no straight around.
Yeah. But it really worked. And Pom upped the crazy as well. And Drax got a little bit looser. And they found this energy that still felt within their characters, but also what was needed of this little story that they tell.
I will agree. Yeah, there was kind of just enough time of just the two of them because it is two silly characters who need a straight character, but they gave Mantis like enough of an arc and like a goal that she kind of is the straight character, even though she's a little bit silly. She's like, put the cloaking device on, and like, we have to catch Kevin Bacon, leave your little funny man behind. So like, even though she's being silly and she wants to keep her candy cane, she is focused enough that she is half the straight man in the comedic duo, and it really works. And they're both doing a great performance. I would say my concern when I realized it was going to be both of them for a lot of time was, from what I recall of their interactions in Guardians 2, it is a lot of just Drax insulting Mantis.
Being
and Mantis
very mean.
Very sincerely mean, and Mantis not understanding that he's being mean. And I was worried that humor was going to be back for 45 minutes of a Christmas special. And I'm like, that's not going to feel nice.
No.
But it did feel nice. They were very respectful of each other, and like all of their arguing was very much like, just because I'm a little bit selfish, but I'm also not mean.
Yeah, or like, you ate all the snacks. It wasn't like, you're hideous, you're ugly, everyone will hate you, which is what Guardians 2 was. Which is the things he said in Guardians 2, yeah. And this one, he was just like, I wanted to eat the nuts. Yeah.
She's like, nobody cares but you about the nuts. Yeah, very good, lighthearted jokes. These two worked really great as a dynamic duo trying to capture Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, a pairing I didn't know I needed or would work, and it sold the shit out of it. Even some of the stuff where like it doesn't even necessarily go a lot of places, like them just kind of having a night out drinking at the bar. It's just kind of like a fun little montage, and some of it's just like them like, how can you drink a drink silly, and Mantis kind of like tongue first going into a shot
like a doggo.
Yeah, and like just little shit like that where I'm like, oh, Palm really kind of dedicated to the physical comedy of this role and kind of lands it really well. So yeah, a huge respect and shout out to Palm for playing Mantis with a lot more variety and depth than I thought that this character was going to have in comedy, which I always think is way tougher than drama. So yeah, very, 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 very respectful shout out to Palm. Yeah.
Respectful shout out to both of them. Yeah, because it was fun when they're like, they're getting their photo taken and they're getting all their tips. I did think they were walking into a strip club when they went into that bar.
Also they had an armful of ones, which was the joke.
So many ones. So I'm like, oh, she's walking into a strip club and they're going to have a funny time. But it was just a regular bar. But that also is fine.
That also works out really
fine.
well.
Now you got money for alcohol and you don't got to steal it.
You could, if you got a few hours left, you could go see Kingo's Christmas special, which I love that as a background gag. And what did I say after Eternals? I'm like, Kingo is the only one that will continue to be referenced in Marvel features.
I can barely tell you the name of the other Eternals, but without even seeing Kumail's face, and I saw the word Kingo, I'm like, Kumail, he's in this. He's still around. Kingo. Eternals 2 Kingo.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
They gotta release it.
That's great. That is
Eternal Kingo. Just one.
All
just
about
one
it.
Guy.
Just Kumail. Just him. So that was a nice little background gag. I did find it took a second for me to really enjoy when they are like getting the dollars for taking photos with tourists. And someone's like, it's the God of War. And it took me a minute to realize that they thought Drax was Kratos. And I'm like, it's kind of like that. It's not that
dissimilar. Yeah, if Drax didn't exist and you had to be like, what's this guy dressed as?
Okay.
He's definitely Kratos.
Yep.
He's like a big bulky guy with a bunch of red tattoos on him. Yeah.
Yeah. The designs are different, but it's a gray man. It's a buff gray man with some red stuff. Yeah.
And they found a way to reference it without being like, that's God of War.
Yeah, that's Kratos, or that's the video game God. That's the video game God of War. Parenthetical 2018, the remake by Santa Monica Studios for play. You keep it soft.
Especially because when I think God of War, because I'm not a gamer, I actually think of Ares, and I'm like, does the MCU have Ares? Is this like a little thing? And then I had to be like, oh no, this is a Kratos joke.
No, it's a Kratos joke. Yeah, DC has Ares. Kratos. I don't think they have Ares.
I don't think they do in Marvel that I can.
They don't usually go Greek Roman. I think, yeah.
Although they got Hercules.
Well, they do have Hercules.
But I don't know if there's an Ares. Might be
yeah,
out there.
because they did have Zeus, too.
There might be like
there might be an Ares out there.
If he's floating around, he's not as main as in DC.
Yeah.
In DC, he's a main villain.
They're not dipping into it as hard as they would be in DC.
How canon? Do we think this is full canon? Mm-hmm. Full, complete canon.
Yeah, that arm is gone. That's why you want to know, huh? That's why you want to know. Why don't you just fucking ask about the arm?
I'm getting there.
Look me dead in the eye and ask about the arm.
Did Bucky just lose his arm forever?
Yes.
Permanently.
I think so.
I do not accept this because Bucky's coming back. Like, he's in Thunderbolts. So we know there is a return of Bucky. So we will get an answer about whether he has this arm or not when we see Bucky again. And I can't wait, or I'm furious. I don't know how I feel on Bucky's behalf that his arm has been stolen from him.
Well, we had an off-mic discussion recently
have an off-mic discussion about this.
About Black Panther Wakanda Forever. No spoilers right now for Black Panther Wakanda Forever if you haven't seen it yet, but I would say that like one of the things that is referenced in Black Panther Wakanda Forever is that obviously other people would love to have vibranium, a thing that's mostly a Wakandan thing. And off mic, we were talking about it. We're like, Bucky's got a full arm made of the stuff. That's got to be so valuable.
Yeah, like Claw was selling like for millions or billions, like his one crate of it that they made Vision's body out of. And Bucky's got a full arm. Sam has a shield, but like it's so publicly known that he has the shield that like I don't know if you can go for it. But yeah, Bucky's got a full arm of vibranium, and the U.S. government is like, we don't have literally any. So we're like, are they gonna steal that arm? And the fact that like Nebula got there before the U.S. government apparently. Does he go back to Wakanda and ask for another arm?
No, I think he's just gonna have a regular old metal arm.
I don't like that. I like an unbreakable arm.
And I think the more powerful they made vibranium as well, the more that maybe MCU was like, we gotta actually get rid of that vibranium arm. That's a little nuts.
I don't know if that was what was happened so much as it was just a good callback joke. Like, even since the first Guardians, Rocket has been stealing limbs.
Yes, I do love this as a runner for him. And yeah, calling back to Infinity War as well is really good.
How much for the arm? It's not for sale.
Oh, I'm going to get that arm. So good.
Oh,
Such a good callback.
I hope he returned it. I cannot wait to watch Thunderbolts. And I actually hope he has the arm back. I do want him to keep the vibranium arm. I hope there is a crazy throwaway line about like, I had to fight a raccoon to get this back. Or something. I can't wait. You know I'm always worried about Bucky.
I know that you're always worried about Bucky.
Live in a state.
He'll have an arm of some sort.
I believe
he might get this one back.
Have an arm. He'll have two.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Two arms.
Because Rocket doesn't even necessarily want to keep them. Like when they got that dude's leg during the prison break, he just tosses it aside. He thinks it's funny to get them. He doesn't really care about collecting them.
I don't know. He had an eye ready to give Thor in a pouch.
But he gave it away because he was just like, I don't need or want this. This was just...
an eye is really small.
I get off on just getting these. That's his thing.
See, I believe he has a room full of them. And he like would just throw it into a room.
Okay.
I don't believe he would bother to go back to Earth and give it back.
Okay.
He's not taking an extra trip. Rock is not that kind of guy.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so. but if they, I think Bucky will either have a regular metal one or he'll get this back.
I hope he gets this back.
That's so funny though. The
it's
full on
such a funny
arm.
joke. It's a full arm too.
Yeah.
It's like longer than it's ever looked. I don't know
it
how
looks
big they think
absurdly
Sebastian
long.
Stan's arms are.
But also it is in comparison to a rocket opening a raccoon opening a box. So it does look particularly large in that regard. Also, the smallest thing. But I got to be like, this was so funny. Nothing but respect for Karen Gillan. Gillan?
I think Gillan.
Gillan. Karen Gillan.
The little dance?
That dance she does. What the fuck was that? That was so good.
That was a dance a human body has never created before. It was the exact dance of a being who has been taken apart, rebuilt as a robot, but also never danced anyway.
Yeah.
Just someone who has never danced and is trying to figure it out and also has robot parts that don't dance. Like, wow. And it was so short, but she really nailed, like, this is something new.
With every passing appearance, Nebula and Karen Gillan's performance of Nebula is a character that I'm falling, like, more and more in love with, to be like, holy shit, you get this character. You're embodying it in a weird way. You're personifying it. Like, you really know who this person is. This kind of like anger, aggression, reluctant friendship.
But
every
like longing,
scene.
Yeah, longing for friendship, but being scared to reach out for it. Like really complicated character. Like ever since like Endgame, where she really, really brought it, I thought. But I also think in Guardians 2, as much as that was an iffy movie, I think she was very, very good.
I agree.
She has come such a long way from We Have Been Boarded.
We have been boarded.
Guys, if you haven't heard the clip.
We love though. We have been boarded in Guardians 1, but that was just some accent work that Karen needed to work on. But yeah, the physicality to do the comedy and come up with an entirely new way to move and dance was just a little scene-stealing moment that was kind of like, holy shit, you are good at this.
It was so small and it was so big at the same time. I completely agree. I also had that written down. So we both were like, oh shit, that little moment of dancing.
Love that little moment of dancing.
One quick question. How do you feel about Footloose? Do men love Footloose? I have a sincere question.
Peter does.
He was kidnapped in 1988. I think he was like 10, 8, something like that. What child of that age's favorite movie is Footloose?
I don't know what to tell you. He's a bit older than me. I think it was of an era though that it was like if you owned a movie on VHS.
Ooh, it was your favorite movie?
Yeah, because like you're of a certain age where all movies are good movies, and any movie you have access to is by default the best movie. So whatever movie is popular and you have frequent access to is the best movie.
I guess I can see that. And I guess when you think about it, it does fit like his family dynamic because his mom is shown to like love music and to have given him music. So the fact that maybe she was also into Footloose and was like, this is a movie about music.
I could see her having a VHS tape of Footloose and being like, maybe they have 3 tapes in the house and that was all they played over and over again.
But for the record, here are some other movies that were out when he was kidnapped. Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, E.T., Goonies, Star Wars, Top Gun, Indiana Jones, Karate Kid. This guy loved Footloose.
Karate Kid seems much more his vibe.
Oh, I feel like he would have loved Karate Kid. But that might be too Johnny Karate from Parks and Rec.
Maybe we're getting a little too Johnny Karate.
If they were to put that in, it might be a little too Johnny Karate.
Yeah, I
So I see why they would have skewed from that via the first Guardians. Because he's been talking about Kevin Bacon since Guardians 1.
Yeah. He's been with it for a minute. But those are all some great examples of things that Quill would be much harder into.
He should have had a VHS tape of.
Yeah.
A Star War?
A Goonie?
A Goonie.
The Goonies. Come on. You have the Goonies?
Back to the Future.
Yeah. Okay, these are all great points you've made.
Now, I want to be clear. I think Footloose is a great movie. I do love Footloose. It's got gymnastics, it's got dancing. It's got fun.
But I will also argue, of that era, if you had a VHS of something, that was now your favorite movie. Whether or not you asked for it for Christmas or what, if your parents had a VHS tape of something, most families would have like 3 movies, and you're like, you really gotta get in on that.
I will say, young me had a couple of those of movies that I can't believe how many times I watched. Dumb and Dumber.
Okay, yeah.
Saw it so many times just because we owned it.
And I would never be like, that's a movie that defines Diana.
I've seen it so many times. The Quick and the Dead.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a real dad bought this VHS.
Dad bought that VHS. And I was like, well, it's long. It'll fill my day. It's a long movie.
There you go.
It's got a cool female gunfighter in it.
Yeah. But Footloose is the one?
Footloose is the one he had, so I guess I can relate. You know what? I take it back.
And it's brought us some terrific Kevin Bacon moments. All of the moments on the ship of being told what to do and be, and him doing a bad British World War II soldier. That's where his heart's definition of a hero goes.
That was his instinct.
That was his instinct. Love it. Absolutely.
Him getting broken out of the trance and just like screaming. He's like, "Don't run away. Don't run away."
And he's run. Someone go get Kevin Bacon.
Don't kill him.
So terrific stuff. That was the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
A delightful little special.
A delightful little special. Well, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question. What would you change? So now that we discussed everything, we discussed what would you change about this if you could change anything. Before we do ask that final question, we want to give thanks to one of our other sponsors of today's episode. We want to thank our friends over at Raycon. We are coming up on the holidays, and that means that it is time to start shopping for gifts for people. And a wonderful gift idea is premium audio quality products from Raycon.
From Raycon, they've got wireless earbuds, headphones, and speakers with premium sound. I've got the Raycon earbuds. I absolutely love them. The battery power is incredible. I took these things down south and didn't have to charge them once on our entire vacation. Very impressed.
These babies last, and it is fantastic. And also, this is just a good gift for anyone in your life first of all, anyone in your life. But how many times have you been with someone where they're like, hey, listen to this or watch this video, and it's just their phone? I can't be the chaotic person going through life listening to things through tinny phone speakers, and you should want better for the loved ones in your life as well when it comes to gift getting.
Yeah.
And headphones or a Bluetooth speaker will help you with that.
And Raycon's product starts at half the price of other premium audio brands, so they're going to get great headphones at a great price, and they probably got ears.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, with great battery life, I've got a pair that I keep in the desk, like ready to pair to my computer at any given time. But I have one that I use for running as well. So it just makes life easier and smooth. Just having a good pair of headphones that easily connect and last a long time. I love it. And right now, you can go to buyraycon.com/TFS to get 15% off site-wide with code HOLIDAY plus free shipping. That's code HOLIDAY at buyraycon.com/TFS for 15% off your Raycon purchase. Buyraycon.com/TFS. And thank you, Raycon, for your support.
Thank you, Raycon.
And as well, before we go in for the final question, we'll remind you, as we do every week, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, wherever you might be listening to this, because it helps us move up the charts and it helps us find new listeners.
It's what we would like for the holidays. Leave us a review. Say anything you want. Tell us what VHS movies you had and watched frequently, but maybe didn't even like. I'd love to know.
Oh, that is interesting. I would like to know that.
I would love to know what other people had on VHS and just were forced to watch over and over again.
Very interesting. I can only remember one, and it was Christmas Vacation.
Oh,
and it would just sit on the shelf waiting.
But you could only watch that like
that was
one
pretty
month
much
out
it.
of the
Yeah,
year.
I don't know. That's the only one I can picture on the shelf.
Waiting. I'm picturing like a spotlight on it for 12 months out of the
Locked
year.
glass. It's behind. So let us know in the review. That's going to be our call to arms this week. Let us know in the review what VHS you had growing up, or DVD if you're younger than us, I guess.
I was going to say, let's all feel old together.
Yeah, there's people younger than us listening to this. Whatever movie that if you grew up in an era of physical media,
That's a good one.
What was one of the few things that you had?
Super disc.
Play that. Put that in the review. But yes, leave us a review. It's a free way to support the show. Helps us move up the charts. Helps us find new listeners. And then when new listeners do find us, they do check those reviews, and positive reviews make it more likely that new people will actually give us a shot and check us out and hit subscribe and all that good stuff. And if you want to support the podcast monetarily, you can do that over on Patreon, which is a monthly subscription service. You can subscribe at whatever level is in your budget. You can do as little as $1 a month, or you can do as much as you can afford. You can do any number in between.
No upper limit.
No upper limit.
We're not going to hold you guys back.
$1 lower limit. All right. There is a lower limit. It's $1. There's no upper limit. But even with that $1 lower limit, you can always cancel and change your subscription level on any month, so you're not locked into anything. If you want to support us literally for $1 for 1 month, you can do that, and just that. Or you can do $1 ongoing. At the $10 level, however, at the $10 hero level, you do get a bonus episode of this podcast every single month. Last month we did Creed 2. October we did a Hocus Pocus. So we've done some really fun stuff. And when you sign up, you get immediate access to the back catalog as well.
You get all the old stuff. And also, if you can sign up for a year at any level and you get a month free. And the month free is because there will be less transaction fees. So it doesn't even really affect us. You will still be supporting From Superheroes fully, which is great for everyone involved.
Absolutely. So check out all the different levels and all the different options that we have. At least have a look. Head on over to patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. That's patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. And thank you to all of our current and all of our potential future patrons.
Thank you, patrons.
And now let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question. Diana, what would you change about this if you could change anything?
I wouldn't change a whole lot. I would add just a little bit more to it. As they did have Rocket, Groot, and Nebula Like, they got them, they got the actors, they CG'd them. I would have liked if they were integrated into the story a bit more. There was, like, Drax and Mantis had a lot of fun. I wouldn't have minded if maybe just twice during the Kevin Bacon parts we kind of cut back to nowhere and we're like, Quill's still depressed, and maybe they're trying to cheer him up and it's failing, and now it all really depends on getting Kevin Bacon here because they're just doing a shit job over on Nowhere. And so I wouldn't have minded just like 1 or 2 more scenes to kind of feel like they are still a cohesive unit and it's not just a Drax and Mantis special. So really just I'm going to add, like, you already had them for the day, obviously, or for several weeks of filming. Might as well use them a little bit more, kind of just have, like, a little more A-B storyline going on instead of just kind of an A storyline. You have enough time, I think, for a B storyline to be happening here. So, yeah, cut back to Nowhere and failed attempts to cheer Quill up over the holidays until Kevin Bacon arrives. That's my change.
I like that a lot. I think I could get on board with that. I agree that there was time for a B storyline. I think that the Mantis and Drax works as a comedic pairing.
Actually works.
But I agree with you. The rest weren't necessarily integrated, and there was time for a B storyline, or at least even like a nugget of one.
Yeah. So Andrew, what would you change?
I'm fully on board with that. I like yours. I think for the most part, not much needs to be changed about this. I really think it all works. I think that it accomplishes exactly what it set out to do. I would say my only small change would be for the amount of random MCU canon that they introduce in this. I think that it would be funny to kind of hang a lantern on it and make a joke out of it. So rather than just being like who gives a shit, let's just drop a bunch of canon. Like let's just drop that what is his name has the headpiece now.
Kraglin.
Kraglin, yeah. So instead of just like dropping like Kraglin has the headpiece now. Cosmo is helping us do this thing, and we also bought Nowhere. Hang a lantern on that and make a couple jokes about it. Hammer all those things back to back to back in one sentence.
That's very
And
funny.
be like, man, we've had a busy week. Be like, Thor left yesterday. Can you believe it? Like, fuck with the timeline. Have a one-off line that Thor left yesterday. And they bought Nowhere, and they've done this. Like, it's the end of the pilot episode of a sitcom.
They're repiloting.
Yeah, they're repiloting. I think that, and you could even do like a joke there that they're arguing about who's going to pilot the ship. You could have a literal repiloting joke.
I love that.
So there's a lot that you could do to be like, we dropped a lot of shit just now, and we don't give a fuck, but have a little bit of an added sense of humor about not giving a fuck, I think, as well.
I really like that. I think that's very fun. I would also like one fake thing that we'll never be able to check.
I was also thinking that as well.
One fake MCU thing that is like, you can't check that. What's it going to be? I don't know. Can you believe Doctor Strange came and bought a bunch of jelly? Teleported right in.
Absolutely. Be like, and Nebula had that relationship with that open relationship with 9 multiverses dimension versions of Doctor Strange, and just her being like, he smooches good, and just like that, whatever, like we opened a dimension. Yeah.
I can't believe we talked to the Eternals.
It's such an opportunity for a joke factory.
Yeah. And there's still like very good jokes in this. But I think the MCU will only let James Gunn go so far.
Yeah.
But it's very fun.
Hang a lantern on the canon stuff that you jammed in there.
Love it.
Well, that's going to be it for this week. That's it for the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. We are going to be back next week, and next week we're talking about Avatar.
Woo!
Avatar.
Oh boy.
So we're going to be back next week to talk about Avatar. And then the week after we'll be talking about Avatar: The Way of the Water. Woo! Sometimes God gives you an alley-oop to create a dunk factory.
Oh, Christmas's gift to us is Avatar and Avatar 2.
So we are going to have just a truly wonderful, wonderful time over the next couple of weeks. So we'll be back next week to talk about Avatar. In the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, you can find me on Instagram at Ivimey, Ivimey.
You can find me on Tumblr at Words of Diana.
And you can find both of us most places at From Superheroes or FromSuperheroes.com to get links to everything. And we'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.